Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the MakeCode Arcade Advanced stream. I'm Richard at Richard on the MakeCode forum.
I'm Joey at J1Ville on the MakeCode forum.
And this will be probably a short stream today because also sorry that we haven't had streams all week. I've been sick. Yay. You can still hear it. I'm still pretty sick. But I decided to come in and do some work today, and I thought, oh, well, might as well do, some amount of live stream too. So that's what we're doing today. And anyway, what are we working on today? We're working on our Hollow Knight game. And if you remember where we left off last Friday, which I think is the last time we worked on this, we were doing these enemies that climb around stuff, right?
Yeah.
And we had done the enemy one way, which is climbing on the outside of things. But we have not made the enemy able to climb on the inside of things. So if you look right now, our guy gets stuck right there, hitting the left wall. And that's because our logic just does not handle this case at all. So we're going to be looking at that. Wolf says, poor Richard. Yep, just like the almanac. It's all right. I am feeling much better than I was like the previous 4 days, but still not great. So we're going to do this. We're going to try and figure out what logic needs to be added to make this guy go around. And we'll see how long that takes us. That's probably all we're going to do today. And the next thing we have to do is actually animate this dude, but we'll worry about that later. So for now, let's take a look at what our logic is right now. It looks grosser than it is. Basically, what we're doing is we are, our sprite has two properties that are kind of important here. We have wall direction and facing. So wall direction is the direction in which we are grabbing the wall. So let me slow this guy down also. He's like moving real fast, right? Okay, cool. We've just got this hard-coded in all these places. So that's going to be fun. Move time. That's a great variable name. We're going to set this to be like 500, which is 5 times as long as it currently is. And we're going to stick these in all of these move blocks, which I'm surprised I did not think to do this when we were first doing this, but oh well. All right. So the way our logic works right now is basically we're like, okay, what tile are we currently on, and what tile, what direction are we facing? And from that, oh man, when we make the time longer, our guy gets stuck. Look at that.
Oh, he's
all stuck now. Yeah, he's doing a little jig.
Dance.
Look at that. I wonder why that is. Do we? I see. So we changed the state to idle in 100 milliseconds, but we should actually change it in the whatever the move time is. So go ahead and put that in there. Hoping that will fix this up for us. There we go. Now we're moving. All right. So the way our logic works right now is basically we say, okay, what tile are we grabbing onto? What direction are we moving? And we look and see, okay, when we move to that next tile, is there going to be a tile that we're still grabbing onto? And if not, then we know we need to turn. Right? What we need to do now is we need to say, like, before we move, we need to be like, okay, are we going to be moving into a wall? And if that's the case, then we want to change the direction that we're facing and then just immediately run the logic again. Because if we're here and we're going to move into a wall, we can't move that way. So we need to change our direction and then just have our logic run normally. So let's see what the best way for us to do that is. All right. So right now we have this wall direction equals 0 thing here. By the way, our facing and wall directions are based off of the Richard standard, which is 0 is up, 1 is to the right, 2 is down, 3 is to the left. And so the wall direction being 0 up means we're grabbing something above us. Whereas facing up would mean that we are moving upwards. So those are kind of how to interpret those two values. So let's start with facing to the left, because that is what we, no, I want to start facing to the right. We're going to change our default facing direction to the right, which is 1. So we're going to start with facing to the right, and we're going to detect this case right here. So we're facing to the right, we're moving to the right, but there is a wall there. So I'm wondering if we want to mess with this existing if statement, or I think we could probably just do another if statement up here. No, we probably do have to mess with this existing logic. I was thinking, like, if we just did another if statement above, we could say, like, are we facing to the right? Well, we know we're going to be moving to the right in that case. And if that's the case, then we want to, we could just do the detection there and immediately change our facing thing. And that will make it so that this logic will run and it'll just, keep working, which is all good. But we can't actually do that because there is the case right now. So when we are floating up here, so when we are facing to the right here, and we're grabbing something to the bottom, right now what we do is we go, okay, we need to turn, and then we move. And so that if we put the logic up here, we would still need to detect, are we in a turning state before we actually go there. So to make this work, we're going to have to edit our existing thing, which is a pain because there's a lot of cases in this if statement. Now there's going to be a whole lot more. So we're going to, I guess the only ones that we actually have to deal with are the ones where that is wall. So in all of our things, we have a wall direction check. We have a facing direction check because wherever you're grabbing the wall, you can only be facing 2 directions, right? If the wall's underneath you, you can only be facing left or right. It always has to be perpendicular to whatever direction you're grabbing the thing. So the only cases we actually have to worry about here are these top cases in the innermost if statement, which is if it is a wall, because otherwise we know we're turning. So we can, not worry about that. So if we are on solid ground, we have found a wall. Then inside here, we need to go ahead and just check, is the thing in the right direction a wall? And if it is, then we need to turn. So let's go to facing, let's see. So our starting direction is we are facing to the right, and our wall direction is downwards. Downwards is 0, 1, 2. So we're going to go to wall direction equals 2 right here, and facing equals 1, so right. All right, so this is the first thing we want to edit. We're going to go ahead and put in an if right here, and we're going to say if tile at tile map location right is wall, then we need turn. So if we are moving to the right, and there is a wall here, we want to turn so that we are grabbing that wall. So we're going to change our wall direction to be 1, because that's to the right. And we're going to be turning upwards. So we're going to change our facing direction to be 0. Like that. One thing to note here, I'm using the sprite thing that gets dragged out from this event right here. Luckily, I'm just duplicating blocks, so it kind of comes for free. But you do need to make sure that you're doing that when you're inside of these state sprite like AI type functions that we use. Okay. So great, we turned. Now you might be like, okay, then let's just immediately start moving. But we can't do that because there is a case that breaks that, which is this one right here.
Yeah,
so let's say, yeah. So let's say I'm moving to the left and I hit this wall, then I'm going to turn to face upwards, but like I should be turning immediately again. But I'm actually thinking if we did it that way, though, you would never see it turn. You would just see it immediately flip, you know, which would look bad. So maybe we should run it for a frame.
Make it look like it's on the wall and then.
Yeah.
We could make it so it always just takes a second to go around the curve, so it's not like a smooth transition.
We could. Yeah. What I'm thinking is we'll just do the turning logic. And then we won't do the actual move. So we'll do the turning logic and then nothing else. And then the next frame, this will run again. Right. I mean, it won't right now because we do this change state to walking, change state to idle. So we would have to return in here in order to prevent that. And we can't really return because we're inside of a nested thing. I think actually we could. I don't know if that would break our compiler. We're inside a function right now, so we might be able to put a return block in here. But I wonder how angry it would get. Should we try it? I'm going to save before we do this.
I think it doesn't like it.
I don't think it'll actually break our project to the part where we need to save, but better safe than sorry. All right, so we're going to come over here to our check right here, and we're going to put in a return. And let's see what happens. Ah, okay. All right, well, it didn't work, but anyway, that was something. All right, well, throw that out. Okay, let's do this the proper way. So we're probably just going to use a Boolean for this, which is we're going to make a Boolean. We're going to call it did move. And we're going to set this to true at the beginning. And the reason I'm setting this to true instead of false is because we're going to be editing the not moving cases for all of these. So just to make our lives a little bit easier and not have to copy and paste this into all of the other if statements that we're not currently editing, we're just going to set did move to false in the one that we are editing, which is right here. So set did move to false. And then inside here, we're going to go ahead and say if did move. Where is did move? Then we're going to change our state. Now, one other thing here is we currently have this thing running when we enter the idle state. So this will mean that it'll only run once. We're going to change this to update so that we run every frame. And that'll make it so that we get to reevaluate things. And that's okay because even in the ones where we do turn, all we do is immediately change the state. So this will still run once in the good case, and then in the other cases, it will do it. All right, cool. There we go. Now you see us turning. Looking good. All right. So easy. So we just have to do this 4 times, right? Or 7 more times. Yeah. Okay. So let's handle the other one, the other case here. So if we are facing the opposite direction, we're facing to the left, which is down here. Then we need to do just the same check basically, but swap the right for left. So change this to left. I'm going to pull this out and stick this into our else right here. And so if we hit the wall on the left because we're facing here and moving to the left, then we want to be grabbing the wall on the left now, which is 3. Sorry, wall direction should be 3. And our facing should be up once again. So that should be 0. And yeah, there we go. All right, so that should handle the opposite direction. And we can test that out real quick by changing our initial direction to left. So change facing to 3. And we should see this guy go up. Yeah, looks good. Okay. So let's keep this ball rolling. We're going to duplicate this check and move to our next one. So when we are moving to the right, we are then grabbing the wall on the right. So let's do the wall on the right next. So that's wall direction equals 1, which is right here. And we're going to go ahead and stick this right here and change this to top. Yeah, so we're grabbing the wall to the right, but we're moving upwards when our facing equals 0. So we wouldn't be checking the direction to the top. Pull this out, replace it with this. And we're going to change our wall direction to be to the right, which is, to the top is what we should be doing because we're moving upwards. So we're going to change that to 0. And we want to, if we're on the right wall, we're moving up, then we want to turn left. So we're going to change our facing to 3. Okay, and let's reset our initial direction so that we can test this out. We're going to change our facing to right again. Now we'll see this guy go up, and there we go, loops around. Cool. All right, let's do the other one. So we'll change this back to 3. And let's see, right here. Go ahead and duplicate this guy. And okay, I got lost. Okay, right top, else right bottom. There we go. All right. So right here, we're going to change this to bottom, swap this out with the existing one. And then we're going to change the wall direction to be the bottom, which is 2. And we're going to change our facing. So we're on the right wall, we're moving downwards. We want to change our facing to left, which is 3. Cool. And, we won't actually see this run because we currently are not on the right wall moving downwards. But we can check it out once we do this next case. All right, so let's move back to our facing to the right. All right, we have 2 cases left to do. Let's duplicate this guy. So we can drag it to where we are. So now we want to do when we're clinging to the ceiling. Oh, what a feeling when you're dancing on the ceiling. All right, so if we're on the ceiling and we're moving to the right, then we're going to go ahead and check to the right of us and say if the thing to the right is wall, then we're going to check our wall direction to be the right, and we're going to set our facing direction to be, so we're on the wall, we're moving to the right, we want to be moving downwards, so we're going to change that to 2. And pull this up, add it there. There we go. And now the other case right here. So we want to change this to be left. Swap this out with that. If we're on the top and we're moving to the left, then we want to be moving downwards now. So downwards is 2, and our wall direction is now left, which is 3. All right, so we should see this guy go around now. Hit that, and there we go. Okay, so one last case, which is when we're cleaning on the wall to the left. Duplicate this, bring it on down. We're looking for our else case here, right here. So if we are clinging to the left and we are facing 0, that means we are moving upwards. Then we're going to check, is the thing to the top a wall? If it's not, we want to move just like we were before. If it is a wall to the top of us, then we're going to set our wall direction to be the top, which is 0. And we are going to set our facing direction. So let's see, we're clinging to the left, we're moving upwards. We now want to be facing to the right. So we're going to set our facing direction to 1. So we should, now if we set our initial facing direction to left, we should see ourselves do the whole loop, I think. So that's 3. So move up, right, down, left, up. Yep, there we go. Oh, whoops, that was wrong. But we still have one more case to do for the right loop to work. So duplicate this again, head on over to here. So we're clinging to the wall to the left, but we are moving downwards. So we want to check the location bottom and swap this up with the existing one. We're going to set our wall direction to be downwards, which is 2, and we're going to set our facing direction to be right, which is 1. Okay, so that should do it. So now loop, loop, loop. Looks good. Let's test something a little bit more complicated, I guess. I don't know. This is a good enough test. All right, so let's animate this dude. Okay. So we have an animation for this. It's 2 frames right here. But right now, this animation is always facing to the right, right? So we needed to take this and we need to rotate it based on which direction we're grabbing it and which direction we're facing. And so just like with our if statement, there's going to be 8 cases for that, right? Because when you're grabbing a wall, you can be facing one of 2 directions, the 2 perpendicular directions. So we're just going to automatically flip this thing instead of drawing all of those, because I feel like that's going to be moderately less painful. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Okay, so we're going to do get frames. Or yeah. Is this going to be better? I don't know. Let's see. Wolf says merging an image at 0 and merging an image at 0.1 have different results. I swear I've been bug hunting for 2 hours now. I don't know what you mean by merging an image at 0.1.
Is this for the?
It's possible I forgot. It's possible I forgot to truncate the values. And if that happened, I'm sorry, but you can do it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's just do this get frames function. Yeah, the new shader things. Yeah, just truncate the values yourself. I'm sorry, I forgot to do it. Apparently, I believe you. All right, so we're going to take in a wall direction, and we're going to take in a facing, and we're going to take in an array, which is going to be our animation. Because I don't know, maybe there are going to be other enemies we want to do this for, so might as well make it a general purpose function. So let's start with the easy case. All right, so if wall direction equals the easy case, the one that we already have frames for, which is we are on the ground and going to the right. And so for that case, our wall direction is equal to 2, which is downwards. And our facing direction is equal to 1. So we're going to take this 0, 1, 2. And now inside here, we're going to say if facing equals 1, and then an else. So if facing equals 1, that means we're facing to the right, which means we could just return our animation back. I'm going to go ahead and put this at the end of our function too, so that it stops complaining. All right. So if facing is 1, wall direction 2, we got that covered. Now, if facing is the opposite direction, that means we're moving to the left. We need to flip all of these frames. So we're going to make a variable. We're going to call this result. That's great. Temporary animation is what we'll call it. We're going to set this to be an empty array. And we're going to do for element value of animation. We will set, do I already have a temporary image? Please say so. Yep. We're going to set temp image to be value. Then we are going to go into images. Sorry, we want to do clone of it. So go ahead and clone it. And then go into images and grab the flip X or flip horizontally. Wait a second. Now I'm getting confused. I think flip horizontally is what we want. Everyone has always, whenever we grab the flip horizontally or flip vertically, everyone's always like, wait, is that right though? Because it's like, the question is it flipping horizontally or is it flipping on the horizontal axis? Right? Because those are two opposite things. And I've never had trouble understanding it until right now. The sickness has addled my brain.
Oh no.
But all right. Anyway, so we're going to go ahead and just add this to our result array. Let's see. Go. Auto the cat. You guys can't see it, but Auto is off screen right now, looking adorable. And by that, I mean like glaring at me, because that's like Auto's default face. But he's accepting my scritches. All right. So, right, not result, tip array animation. We're going to go ahead and add this tip image. And we're going to go ahead and return our tip array animation at the end here. All right, easy enough. Let's just keep working on this. So next up, let's do, we'll just start at the top. So we're grabbing the wall at the top. We can be either facing right or facing left. So if we are facing right and we are grabbing the wall at the top, then we want to flip our guys vertically. So we're going to go ahead and put this in here. And instead of doing flip horizontally, we're going to grab the other block, which is a separate block for some reason that I've never quite understood why we did it this way, instead of just making it a drop down. But go. Flip tip image vertically. Nice. Okay. But let's say we are facing to the left and we are on this wall direction to the top. And then we want to flip it vertically and horizontally. So lots of fun. And there we go. All right, that handles the up direction. Okay, next up, we are grabbing the wall to the right. So now we have to actually rotate the image, which we don't have a block for, I don't think. Do we have a block for that? I think we have an API for it, but I don't think we have a block for it. Nope. All right, means we have to do it ourselves. I'm sure we've written this on Street before, but I always forget how to do it. Joey, do you remember how to rotate an image?
I think you flip it and then you flip it and you flip it again.
Thanks. Okay. So first things first, we're going to create an image that has the same width and height. We know in this case, or actually we should do height and width, but these are square images that we're flipping, but you know, just to be proper, we'll do height and width. So we're going to go ahead and do 2 for index loops, and we're going to be doing index X and index Y. And we're going to be looping over all the pixels in the image. And it's going to be the width -1 and the height -1. And we need to set the corresponding pixel in our image. And so we're going to grab the color at, and we're going to grab the set color at. Okay. So for the first thing, we're just going to be grabbing the X and Y from our source image, because we're just looping over all of the pixels in our source image. The thing that we kind of have to figure out here is, what do we want to put in for the X and Y? So we're going to be rotating this clockwise. That is what I am deciding right now. And so just to figure this out correctly, we're going to go ahead and draw it out, make sure that we're getting it right. All right. So let's go ahead and just fill this in with solid color. All right, this is my image. I am rotating it to be this image, clockwise. So the 0, 0 pixel is right here. All right. The 0, 0 pixel in my rotated image is right here.
Yeah.
So what has happened is our y is still 0, but our x has changed to be the resulting width minus whatever our x was. Let's see if that relationship still holds true. I'm going to rotate this pixel now. So when we rotate this pixel, it ends up down here. So this one was 0 and then width, right? So in this one, the y value has changed. Right. Okay. This is why I always get confused. This is so simple. It's just like every time I end up confusing myself. And also I'm sick. Okay, give me a break.
Yeah. So then, yeah, I'm trying to math it in my head.
Yeah. All right. So let's make up some numbers for these so we can maybe make it a little bit clearer. So this one is 0, 0. All right. Let me change my cursor down. So 0, 0 right here. And this one's going to be 0, 1. So now 0, 0 has moved to our height, by the way, is okay. So our width equals 1. By the way, you do have to deal with this terrible writing. And our height equals 2 in our source thing. So when we move to rotate this, we now get our 0, 0 has transformed into 2, 0. Right? Actually, it's 1, 0 because this is 0 indexed. So let's fix that. Wait, sorry, that's not right. It is 2, 0. Yeah. What am I talking about? 2, 0. And our pixel right here, which was 0, 1, has transformed into 2. And our 1 has become 1 again. Yeah. Okay. All right. So when we rotate these, the x is being constantly, it's width minus x is what it's ending up as for our x coordinate. That can't be right. No, width minus y is what it is. Or it should be actually height minus y. Right, our original height minus y is what we get for our y coordinate. And then for our x coordinate is right now just equal to, I'm sorry, this is our x coordinate. X equals height minus y. And then our y coordinate is being equal to our x value. Okay, I wrote this backwards because I'm a dummy. This was 1, 0. So our x coordinate is being equal to, our y coordinate is being equal to x. Okay, all right. So I think what we have here is that the y value that we are setting should be equal to x. And our x value should be equal to the image height minus 1 minus our y value. And we're going to test this out. So sprite utils, render on z index. Going to grab draw to screen. We're going to render on z index above everything. We're going to grab, I don't know, some image. This gets equal to gallery, I guess. Duck. And we're going to call our function rotate image. Ooh, we're not returning anything. Got to make sure we return something. So return tip image. There we go. Now we can go in here and get the, whoops. Now we can go in here and get the round version of the block. And we're going to put our image in there. Stick that right there. And let's see what we get. Okay, cool. That worked. All right, so we made a function that rotates us once clockwise.
Okay.
Cool. Throw that away. All right. So with that, let's get back to what we're doing. Okay, so if our wall direction is to the right, then we're going to start with the left, actually. Left is easier. Okay, so if our wall direction is to the left, and we are facing downwards. So we have if facing equals 0, which is upwards, and then we have if we are facing downwards. So if we are to the left and we are facing downwards, then we just want to rotate all of the images in our thing. So we're going to go ahead and call our rotate function. And instead of cloning, we could just go ahead and rotate our image because our rotate image already clones. And add that to the end. All right. Now, if we're facing upwards and we're holding the left, we want to do the same rotate, but we then just want to flip it vertically. So after we rotate, we flip vertically. So we've rotated to the right, and now we flipped it so it's facing upwards. Okay, so our last one is we are on the wall on the right. So for this one, we need to flip it. We need to rotate it. We need to flip it horizontally and then flip it vertically as needed. So we're going to grab this guy and this. We're trying to do the fewest number of operations. So we don't want to just keep rotating and then flip again. We're just going to rotate once and then we'll do a flip. All right. Pull this out. There. Okay. So we are facing upwards. And we are grabbing the wall to the right. So we want to flip. So we are facing downwards and grabbing the wall to the left. Flip horizontally and then flip vertically. Okay. So we want to keep this the same, but we want to add a flip horizontally before we flip vertically. Cool. And now for this one, we want to do the same thing, but we want to, let's see. So we are holding the wall to the right. We want to rotate the image. We want to flip horizontally, and we don't want to flip vertically. All right. I think we did it. So we're going to go into animation now, and we're going to call this animate goodness. We're going to be animating our sprite. We should probably be doing this at the end. And by probably, I mean we should definitely be doing this at the end. I'm glad that I thought of this now and not after we stared at it confused for a while because... doing things. Okay, so we'll put this right here. We're going to go into functions. We're going to grab get frames. The first argument here is the wall direction. So let's grab this. Grab this guy. We want to do the wall direction and the facing. So facing goes there. Wall direction goes here. Set the interval to be like 100 loop, and then we need to pass in our actual animation here. So we're going to grab an animation block and go into my assets and grab this one when we're moving to the right. All right, let's see what the heck we just did. Yeah.
You turned.
It's working, right?
Yeah. I do actually like how I know it's like an accident, but on the bottom he's like one pixel in.
Yeah, where he's getting like 1 pixel two in
It,
there.
it actually kind of feels, it looks nice, right? Because it's like, yeah, he's like, he's sticking his hardest into the ground.
Yeah, we're gonna have to fix that somehow, but you know, it's not the worst thing in the world, I guess. But all right, well, that worked. Let's change our facing direction to the opposite one so that we can see those directions too. So we're gonna change the facing direction to be to the left. And now we should see him moving the opposite direction and make sure everything still looks right. Yep, looks all good.
Yeah.
All right. There's our little dude. Probably slow this interval down to like 200. He's really moving his legs a lot for how slow he's moving. That's a bit better. Cool. All right. Well, pretty good for a sick Richard, I would say. I think we've done good work today.
I like it. I want to find a justification to keep the little leg sticking in there in person, so I'll be spending the weekend on that.
All right. Well, I hope you all are spending the weekend on something just as productive. Reminder, we have a game jam going on right now. You can find details about that on the forum. It's heist themed. And really, I mean, so you got about a week left. I think that's still plenty of time. You still got, 7 days to make a game. I feel like you could do it. And reminder, we're going to be playing all of those games at the end of the month on stream. I mean, not all of them, all of the honorable mentions and like winners. We're going to have a nice little award announcement stream, and everybody who wins can get on the MakeCode Arcade homepage and also get a very exclusive forum badge. So, it's very good prize. Anyway, hopefully I'll be all better on Monday. I think we're going to be having a normal stream schedule next week, unless I'm forgetting something right now. And yeah, I'm Richard. Richard on the MakeCode forum.
I'm Jay Wonder on the MakeCode forum.
Oh, and also, if you are someone to whom this statement applies, get your vaccine, because don't end up like Richard, who got vaccinated last week and then got sick during the incubation period for the vaccine, which is just really unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
But, it happens. What are you going to do? All right. See you later, everybody.
See you.